everyone, what is up? Hey, you guys are here and I'm so glad that you are. Yo, I hope you guys been having an amazing week because I am super excited to share this with you. I just really could not wait to make this video. These lessons that I've learned just by watching this movie and stopping and reflecting on it, man, there are some really good deep lessons that we just have to take the time to remind ourselves. And even I had to remind myself along the way as I am going down this journey that we call life. And so I'm really looking forward to getting to these lessons and sharing this stuff with you. So hopefully that this can help you as much as it's helping me. Now, before I get into these lessons, I need you to do something really quick. If you have not yet, and if it's your first time, or if you're a returner, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and just come on and join the family, because there's going to be so many other videos just like this one that I am really looking forward to sharing with you as I am learning how to be myself and more about myself down life. And I just super excited that we can all grow and be the best we possibly be together and continue to make wise choices along the way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Booyah! Now hold on. Now before I get into these life lessons, I need to let you know there is a spoiler alert in this video. So if you have not seen the movie yet, pause, go watch it, and then come back. But if you don't care, then forget it. Let's get into it right now. So the first lesson that I learned from this movie is, number one, you are different and unique. So let's take a Selah moment. Like, it is so important, and I'm learning with myself, it's so important that I understand that I am different and I am unique and I'm not like everyone else. And Pinocchio, he was different. He was a wooden puppet boy with no strings, which is very rare, because normally when you see a puppet, there's strings and they have someone imitating and moving the puppet and speaking for the puppet. But with Pinocchio, he was actually a living, moving puppet boy. And I get it. Sometimes we think, and I've thought plenty of times, that I'm not good enough or I'm worth nothing. And I look at everyone around me and thinking they're way more valuable than what I have to bring to the table. And thinking I'm not, that because I don't think I'm good enough, well, let me attach myself to someone else, or maybe try to be like somebody else because they're great, they're amazing, I'm inspired to be like them. I get it. It happens. But if we stop and if we focus on ourselves and understand that we are different, unique, that's what the world needs. That's what we need to see. We need to see us. We need to see our unique self. And we have to embrace it, because there's something about you. There's something about me that I have, that I bring to the table that's different from anybody else. And not only that, because as I'm taking the time to embrace myself, there are unique doors that is open specifically for me that no one else have access to because of how different I am. Imagine you taking that time and thinking, yes, I am different. Yes, I am unique. Yes, I am not like everyone else. There's going to be some opportunities that's uniquely designed for you, that is going to be amazing, that's beyond what you can ever think or imagine. As I'm doing it for myself, I know there is. And so I have to believe it, I have to walk in it, but I also have to embrace it. I have to bring it close to my heart. And once I do that, now I can move forward. And so knowing that you are different, unique, that's the first step with any step going forward with anything in your life. Because if you don't understand it, somebody eventually will, but it ain't gonna be for your good. It's gonna be for their good. I'm learning it too, boo-boo. And I'm learning, yo, I'm the bomb diggity, baby, like, period. And once we get to a place of understanding that, now we can move on to lesson number 2, is what is your values? What are the things that matters to you? Now for Pinocchio, in order for him to become a real boy, because the way he saw himself, he didn't really think he thought he was a real boy. But he had to be reminded, like, you're a wooden boy, but you're almost there. It wasn't a denial that you're not really a boy at all. You are a boy. But in order to become a real boy, you have to do 3 things, which is he had to learn how to be brave, he had to learn how to be truthful and unselfish. And by him being those things, he was told and he's learning that that's what's going to make his father happy. And so, not saying that, it's wrong to think those things. I think they're great characteristics, to be honest. To me, low-key, it almost reminds me of kind of like, love God, love others as you love yourself type word that is being said, which is kind of what it is. Because once you're confident knowing who you are, which is being brave and doing brave things that you're confident in, right? And then number 2, being honest and truthful, which means if you're wrong about something, admitting it. And then number 3, being unselfish, which means caring about others besides just yourself, rather than thinking everything's about me. These are great basic characteristics and values to take on. Now, if you have way more than that, that's amazing. But what's important is that I love that Pinocchio did was he stood close to those values and those goals. So it's so important that we take the time and ask ourselves, what are our values? What are things that we value so much that we will stand on no matter what happens? Because when we understand that, we will be aware of the next step, which is shortcuts don't work. Now there's this other thing that comes around. It's called temptation. There's always going to be some type of temptation that's going to put all those things to the test. And we have to be strong enough to know if it is, identify it, and learn how to walk away. Pinocchio, when he was walking down the street, there was this fox that saw him, and they saw his worth, and they saw that they can make some money. And keep in mind, not everybody's going to be on your side. Not everybody's going to want what you want. And those are some things we have to also pay attention to, because sometimes the things that are not for us can look like a pretty little package that may be tempting of thinking that's the right thing, but it really wasn't. So when he told the fox and said, yo, I don't want it. I'm going to school because it makes my father happy and make my father proud. People have a way of manipulating. They like to take what you know and take what you want to do and your goals, and they will twist it for their own liking. Because what Mr. Fox was like, he was like, yo, I think you don't need to go to school. School is for, like, why do you need to go? If you want to make your father proud, you should be a star. Be on stage. That's what's gonna make your father proud. Trust and believe, I get it. When something sounds good and we're going down this road of doing what's right, or maybe we're trying to find a way, with our dreams and goals, we wanna find a way to get there quicker and faster, thinking that that's gonna be the way. It's so important to understand that when you're doing things right, which I'm starting to understand, when you know who you are and going for whatever dream or goal that you have, just know shortcuts don't work. And we have to pay attention, because if it's steering away from where our heart's desire is, which this opportunity was for Pinocchio, we're going to go down paths that we're not ready for, or we don't know how to handle. We can make bad decisions and disappointments too. And when the fox saw that he was disappointed because he did go to school and got kicked out of school, he said, see, I told you was sneaky different. I'm telling you should go and be a star. And he's like, well, maybe that is the other route. Instead, he should have went and talked to his father and let his father handle it. If you're a believer and you love God, sometimes if things disappoint us and we have goals after stuff, sometimes it's great to just run to our Father, our Heavenly Father, and let Him defend us. Because our Heavenly Father knows way better of how to handle things, how to take care of things, rather than us doing it ourselves. Because when we try doing things ourselves without the help of the Heavenly Father, it doesn't work out well. But sometimes we are so desperate that we will do anything to get to our goal or to get whatever we want met, that we don't even care of the consequences, because as long as we get there, we think that's what's going to make us happy. We think that's what's going to make us joyful. But it's not at the end. And we clearly know with Pinocchio, what he really wanted and the path he took didn't really get him happiness, and obviously it didn't make his father proud. But I've learned Shortcuts, no matter what we do in life, it just does not work. If we keep doing right, if I keep doing right, eventually what I desire will come to pass. The fourth lesson that I've learned is to be honest and truthful with yourself. And it's so important because one thing I saw that I really, really liked with this Pinocchio versus the other Pinocchio, the cartoon, that I remember growing up watching on VHS, if you know what I'm saying. One thing I like about this Pinocchio is every single time Pinocchio apologized, and didn't apologize like, oh, I'm sorry. He actually admitted what he did, what was wrong. Like, I'm sorry I lied about me being captured. I'm sorry I lied about I didn't want to become a star. Like, when he got to a point of apologizing, his nose grew back. And I think sometimes we have to take the time to really be honest with ourselves, and if we're wrong about something, to apologize and to walk in that truth. But another thing that I like about Pinocchio, by him being honest and truthful, because that was the second thing, is being honest and truthful. And I like it how almost these stages of where he was going throughout this movie, he was actually practicing and being challenged in these three things. When he apologized and admitted his wrong, he moved on and went right back to his goal and task of, I want to make my father proud. I want to go home. I want to be around my father. I love it so much because sometimes I know for me, when I am apologetic about something or I'm wrong about something, sometimes I put myself down. I'm really hard on myself rather than moving on. And that's one thing I realize with kids these days. When they apologize and they're sorry about something, the first thing they do is going to move on. They're not going to sit there and remind themselves of, oh, I did this last week, I did that last week, I can't believe I did this. No, they just moved on. And another thing that I also liked about Pinocchio, besides that he just moved on and went right back on focus on his father, he didn't live the rest of his time blaming people either. He didn't sit there and say, well, it's the fox's fault of why I am where I am. It's Stromboli's fault of why I'm locked in this little bird cage. It's their fault. So it's not like I wanted to, but it's all their fault. But instead of him blaming, he apologized for his own actions, and then he moved forward. I'm learning myself to stop blaming people and using them as a crutch of why I can't move forward or why I can't go another step or go after something. And not take on that responsibility of somebody else's action. But me, I'm only responsible for myself. And Pinocchio really showed that to me. So I absolutely love about that is to be honest with yourself and be truthful with yourself and move on, period. The fifth lesson that I learned is discipline. I really, really like this because once again, when you're on the path of doing this right, here's another challenge that comes along. And so when he ends up being captured and peer pressured, he thought this was going to make his father proud. He got pressured into going to a place called Pleasure Island. So Pleasure Island, it spoke so much volumes because it wasn't just the fact that it was an island and it was a place where kids could be bad. But the thing that got me mostly was the name of the buildings on Pleasure Island. So I'm going to share some of that stuff with you. So the buildings that stuck out to me was Shop and Lift. So you see kids shoplifting, literally. And it's okay. There's no parents there. Nobody can tell them what they can or cannot do. There's another building that's called Hall of Liars, D-grade school, and they're literally like throwing stuff out of the school. Misfortune, where kids are just eating crazy food. Of course, Sugar Mountain, and it's nothing but candy. As kids and in life, we just love sugar, we love kids. Contempt Corner, and literally they had signs of saying stuff, rude, mean stuff like you're ugly and I hate you and shut up. It's just like different signs. Crazy. Another one that's a wheel that says give me a break. And then the one that got me was the clock stoppers, and literally that's them hitting the clocks, breaking all the clocks, which literally is showing that they're wasting time. And just seeing so much there, it got me thinking like, dang, like, am I wasting time? Have I really been honest? Have I had too much sugar? Have I been saying mean words to people? Like, and it's so funny, it's so interesting because to see Pinocchio's face, he's like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. But these kids are literally acting bad because they have no discipline. So ask yourself, as I'm asking myself, am I disciplined? Am I disciplining myself to be nice? Am I disciplining myself that if you're in school, to stay in school, not skip school, cheat in school, not act crazy in school? Like ask like, even if you're not at work, are you being honest at work? Are you stealing from your job? And when I'm saying stealing, okay, are you stealing time? If you're on your 30, are you taking 35? Or if you are on your 10 break, are you taking 15 extra minutes on your break? Because technically, if you're not going according to the time, you're actually stealing time. Are you coming into work when you should? Or are you just calling out because you had a hangover? Or are you calling out because you just don't want to go to work? Like, ask yourself, like no, it may not be kids things like this island, but what are some things that are we not disciplined in? What are we lacking in ourselves that we're not disciplined in, that we notice that we need to be disciplined in and actually discipline ourselves? And so I love how this scene shows it, because it got me thinking like, wow, I need more discipline. I need to focus a little bit more on some things and stop wasting time, because there's times I'm lazy. There are times I get home from work, I don't want to do nothing, okay? Like nada, like not this cheap, like nada. So like that's something to ask ourselves. So discipline, and that's what I learned from this one. The last lesson that I learned was just the love of a father. And it's just so beautiful, because even though Pinocchio wasn't real, he still loved him. He loved him so much. Do anything to get to be with Pinocchio. And when his son didn't come home, he got really, really worried. And so it's crazy, because when Pinocchio got home, because you know the story, when Pinocchio finally gets home, he can't find his father. And it's so crazy because he sold the most precious thing. So think about Geppetto is, and we know this, you know the movie. He makes clocks. Clocks was the most prized possession he ever had. There was a guy that came and said, hey, I want to buy a clock. He's like, no, it's priceless. He couldn't sell it. And the clocks were hilarious. I don't know, it was so funny. It's so funny because a lot of the clocks that was made was based off of the other Disney movies. So you have the Lion King, you have Maleficent, you have Sleeping Beauty. It's just so funny at these clocks. They're hilarious. He ended up selling it all because he wanted to buy a boat to find his son, because he couldn't find him. And he found out that he was at Pleasure Island. So he knew that I gotta go get my son, and he sold everything that he had to make sure he got his son. And it just shows how much of a father how much Geppetto loved Pinocchio. And also to see a love of a son for the father is also precious, because Pinocchio, even though he went down the wrong path, one thing that he definitely was determined on was being with his father and finding his father. He wanted to make his father proud. And that just got me thinking like the same thing, like, Dad, I want to make my father proud. I want to make not just my earthly father proud, but my heavenly father proud. And I'm willing to take those steps to do so, because I want to see them smile. I want them to see that, you know, I really, you know, care about carrying on the legacy, carry on what they have taught me, and being the best I possibly can be. But at the end of the day, it all starts with myself. So I don't know about you, but I'm willing to put in the work and just to do what's right. Follow the values and knowing who I am, so that way I can live the best life that I possibly can without any excuses, without leaning on anyone's help or confirmation to do anything that I know I'm destined to do. So all of these lessons that I definitely saw from this movie really spoke a lot to me, and now I just feel confident in to move forward and become the best me I could possibly be. And I hope that these lessons helped you as well along the way. So if you like this video, I would love for you to hit the like button. If there are some lessons that you have learned that I actually touched on that you really thought like, yeah, I think that's great, I definitely need to work on that, definitely put it in the comments, and let's take the time to do something brave, do something truthful, and do something unselfish. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button below, and also turn on the bell and the notification button so you don't miss not one video, because there are so much more that is coming your way. I also have other videos as well, so don't forget to check those videos out too. And they also have amazing life lessons that I guarantee you're going to learn, that these movies have taught me, that I'm sure it's going to help you out as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget, don't just make good choices, but wise ones.